Extra, a local writer reminding us that anyone and everyone can learn to cook if you set your mind to it.
Absolutely. Lake Oswego-based author George Sorensen spreading the message that you can do just that through his new cooking memoir, the book titled Hot Dish Confidential, The Year That My Friends Taught Me to Cook. This is no recipe book, but instead an unforgettable story of flavor and camaraderie. George joins us on the couch now, telling us about his culinary journey that inspired this new book. I think it sounds awesome, George. That's so wonderful.
Well, it all started because I was invited to some friend's house, and they were cooking a pork dinner, but using a wild boar recipe.
Ooh.
And I thought, well, how do you do that? I don't understand how to cook. And they go, oh, well, I'm a gourmet cook. You know, I know how to cook. I'll show you how to cook. So I got together with a bunch of friends, and I had themed dinners. And they all came, they brought different dishes, and they taught me how to cook them. And chaos erupted because people can't agree on anything, especially in the kitchen.
Oh, of course.
So they argued about, oh, do you saute this or do you bake it? Or what kind of wine are we going to order and this sort of thing. But I had themed dinners that included the Northern Italian, the south of France, Charles Dickens' Christmas dinner.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know. We all dressed up and had pheasant pie.
Oh, that's so fun.
But I also had like Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
And we
my
had
gosh.
rattlesnake enchiladas. And there's a recipe for rattlesnake enchiladas in the book.
Well, there you go.
Where do you get rattlesnake in origin?
I knew you were going to ask that question. Read the book.
How's that for a tease? Well, I'd have to ask, I come from a Midwestern family, hot dish, AKA a casserole. What inspired the name Hot Dish Confidential?
Well, exactly, and that is it does show you're from the Midwest. And I was living in Minnesota when this happened.
Okay.
And it used to be that when they had these get-togethers in church basements, everybody would say, "Oh, I'm going to bring a hot dish," and they brought the most, you know, interesting things and some of the most horrible things to ever imagine.
I still, if anyone ever brings, you know, it's called sometimes funeral potatoes, which I know is like a very, very odd name for a casserole. It's basically like a hash brown casserole, but they're called funeral potatoes sometimes. They're so good. If you go to a party and they're in a casserole dish, big scoop.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a hot dish that I know and love.
Yep.
Well, you'll have to get the recipe from you, and I'll put it in another book at another time.
Well, so why was this method what got you into cooking? I mean, quite literally having too many cooks in the kitchen, having all of your friends come together to kind of inspire this culinary love for you.
This is the thing. People used to have friends over for dinner all the time. And I think we've gotten into the thing where let's go to a restaurant. What's our famous restaurant? Which is fine.
Yeah.
But there isn't the opportunity for the camaraderie and getting to know people, inviting new people you haven't met yet. So I encourage people to have little dinner parties with their friends. They don't have to be big or fancy. You can have people bring things, and you can all make things in the kitchen yourself right there and see how they turn out. And I've got about 6, 8 recipes in here. Some of them more practical than others. The rattlesnake, maybe you're not going to make that one, but there's an easy souffle. There's a Ortman chili, and you can find out what caused it to be called that name by reading the book.
Interesting.
I love cooking for friends and family. It's such a labor of love, and you can't share a meal with someone and not feel closer with them at the end of it. So you obviously have these great friends that you made this book with, and portions of the book going to a really good cause. Can you tell a little about that?
They do. The publisher, which is a small press, gives part of the income to a big food bank. Now, I will be on Saturday signing copies of this book out at Durant Winery if anybody's going to be out near McMinnville.
Yeah.
We'll be there from noon to 3 in the afternoon. I'll be signing books. And they also are the only olive oil press in the Pacific Northwest.
Exactly. So. If you were watching Cor Harlan earlier when he was in the gift shop at Dahlia Farms, he said, the olive oil people, that's the olive oil people out at Durant, their farm and winery.
Exactly.
So that's going to be this weekend, doing a little talk and a signing. Where else can folks get your book? On
Amazon, you can get it, and any bookstore in the world can order it for you.
Yes. Now, what do you hope that that folks take away from this read? Maybe maybe they've never cooked in the kitchen before. Maybe they're coming in as savvy home cooks. What do you want them to take away from this?
Well, the book is full of an interesting series of stories. And it takes a year, and when it begins, and each chapter is month to month to month. And so we begin with me, the novice cook, learning, and then gradually trying to manage this group of people as we go along. When we hit Christmas, of course, we have the Christmas dinner, and then by the time we get to summer, I go on a blind date, and I meet the girl of my dreams.
Aww.
Oh, I know. But better than that, we end up making apricot jam and winning the blue ribbon at the state fair.
Oh my gosh.
That is the best story. And then quick question before we let you go. You still friends with the people in this book?
Some of them. Some of them. But, you know, times change. People grew up.
Things flamed out. Like we said, it gets hot in that kitchen.
Flamed or flambéed or broiled or grilled or who
But if
knows?
they invited me over, I'd come over.
Oh, there
for
you
dinner.
go. Always fun to sit down and share a
That
meal.
was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to check it out, because I know it's got me feeling like I want to have dinner with all my friends right now. Go check it out. You can meet George at an upcoming book signing this Saturday, August 3rd at Durant Vineyards in Dayton. It's happening from noon to 3 p.m. You can also learn more and grab a book right now. Go to his website, georgesorensen.com, to learn more. Hot Dish Confidential. It's a fun one. Go check it out.